Hello everyone. Now we are into video 2. Video 2 of overheads, which is steps for absorption and calculation of overhead rate. Now steps, there are 5 steps. First step is the estimation and collection of overhead. Second, allocation. Third, apportionment. Redistribution of service department cost and calculation of absorption rate. First step, estimation and collection of overheads. There are two important words here, estimation and collection. Why estimation? Where are we standing? Let us say we are doing this overhead absorption for a period which is specified as, let us say, 1 year. We have decided that we are going to absorb the overheads, we are going to do everything for 1 year. You tell me, as we have seen in the last video, when are we going to decide on the overhead rate, or when are we going to put the burden of cost on the product? At the beginning of the year? At the beginning, before we start the sales, before we start the production? Now, at the beginning of the year, do we actually know how much we are going to produce, or do we know how much we are going to spend? No, we don't know. So what we do is we estimate the figures. We predetermine the amount what we are going to spend with respect to overheads. That is why estimation. Now, so we have decided that whatever amounts we are going to calculate with respect to overheads, that will be an estimation and not the actual figures. Next is collection. What we do is, in the beginning of the year, we are collecting all the overheads which we are going to incur in the coming year, all the overheads of the organization as a whole. Whether it is my production department, whether it is my departments who are serving the production department, such as the canteen, stores, whatever. The organization as a whole, what are the overheads that the organization as a whole is going to incur? That is collection of overheads. So I estimate and collect the total overheads of the organization or of the company. Now that I have everything on a piece of paper, I have written down all the estimations of the overheads. Next step is allocation. What do I mean by allocation? First, I will explain it to you with the help of an example, and then I will tell you the meaning of allocation. Let us say I have 6 departments, P1, P2, P3, then I have stores, I have canteen, I have repairs and maintenance. These are the departments. These 3 are the production departments. These 3 departments produce the products of the company. Whereas these 3 departments are serving the production departments. That is why these are known as the service departments. These are known as service departments. Now let us say there is a particular kind of labor which is required only by the P2 department, indirect labor. There is a particular kind of indirect labor which is required only by the P2 department. When I say indirect labor, means overheads, correct? Indirect labor means overhead which is required only by the P2 department. Then who should bear the cost? Only P2 department. That is why let us say that indirect labor, we are assuming, we are predetermining, we are estimating that the cost of that indirect labor is going to be rupees 1000. Who will bear this cost? Will it be borne by everyone? Sab haath khade kar denge. They will say, why should we bear the cost? If that indirect labor is serving only P2, who should bear the cost? Only P2. So P2 will have a overhead of rupees 1000 directly without any basis because that overhead is incurred for P2 department. Correct? Second example. Let us say there is a kind of material, there is a kind of indirect material which is used by the machines. Let us say there's a kind of nuts and bolts which are used specifically by the machines in the P1 department. Now, those nuts and bolts, we are going to consume those nuts and bolts worth rupees 200. Who is going to consume these nuts and bolts? P1 department. Should I distribute this cost to everyone? Should I give this cost to everyone? No. I will have to give this cost only to the P1 department. P1 department will be allocated the cost of rupees 200, the overhead of rupees 200. Now coming to the meaning of allocation. Allocation is distribution of overheads. It is the distribution of overheads to the department for whom the cost is incurred directly without taking any particular basis. जिस डिपार्टमेंट के कारण हमने कॉस्ट इनकर किया उस डिपार्टमेंट को डायरेक्टली उतना कॉस्ट दे दो. That is allocation. Clear? Now, coming to the next step, that is apportionment. I have the total overheads collected with me here. I have the list, I have all the overheads. Out of this collection of overheads, whatever cost I could give directly, that means whatever cost I could allocate, I have allocated and closed that. Now, the remaining cost which is there with me as a company, that also I will have to shift to the departments because it is incurred for the departments. Now, when I have to shift it to the departments, to all the departments, I have to take a particular basis. For example, let us say I have a factory rent. I have a factory rent of rupees 10,000. Overhead, it is an overhead for me, indirect expense. Now this factory rent, do you agree that all these departments are in the factory? So the cost should be distributed among all. Now, can I distribute directly? Can I say, okay, 1,000 rupees you take, 5,000 you take, you don't take anything? Can I say like that? No. I will have to have a basis for the distribution. What can be the most feasible or the most accurate method for distribution of this cost? The floor space which each department is having. For example, let us say P1 is having 200 square feet. P2 is having 300 square feet. P3 is having, let us say, 150 square feet. Stores is having 200 square feet. This is having 50 square feet. And this as 100 square feet. So total, what is the area of the factory? 200 plus 300, 500, 600, 700, 800, 850, 900 and 1000 square feet. So the cost of this 10,000 will be divided among all the departments on the basis of this floor space. So how much cost is incurred by each department? I have a factory rent of rupees 10,000 to be distributed between 1,000 square feet, that is rupees 10 per square feet. So the cost comes up to rupees 200 into 10, that is 2,000, rupees 3,000, rupees 1500 rupees, 200 rupees, 2000 rupees, 500 and rupees 1000. What did I do? I have taken a basis for the distribution of this overhead. That is known as apportionment. What is apportionment? Apportionment is the distribution of overhead cost between the departments taking a particular basis. So now, whatever cost I had collected, first I allocated it, the remaining cost I have apportioned it. Now the company doesn't have any cost, all the cost has been distributed to the departments. I am free of cost, I have given my cost to the departments where they belong. So all the cost which I had collected has been distributed here. Agreed? Let us say I had only two costs or rather three costs. Either I have allocated them or apportioned them. So what is the total cost which each department is having? This department is having rupees 2200, 2000 plus 200. This department is having 3000 plus 1000, that is 4000. Since there is no allocation of cost here, it becomes 1500, 2000, 500 and rupees 1000. That means this is the cost allocated, apportioned, everything. The total collected cost has been distributed in this manner. So with this, we are done with step number 1, 2 and 3. Let us talk about the fourth step, that is redistribution of service department cost. These are my service department cost. Let me give you an example. Let us say my monthly cost is rupees 10,000. My personal monthly cost is rupees 10,000. I am working in an MNC where I am getting paid rupees 50,000 per month. Can I bear my own expense? Yes, I can bear my own expense because I am earning something. I am a revenue generating person. Second example, let us say I am a homemaker and my personal expenses are rupees 10,000 per month. Since I am a homemaker, I am not earning anything, nothing is coming into my bank account. Can I bear that expense of rupees 10,000? No, I cannot bear it. What will I do then? I will shift the burden of this 10,000 on my parents or on my husband who is a revenue generating person. Let us say I have my cost of 10,000. I put the burden on my husband who is earning member, who is a revenue generating person in the family. Why do I need to do this? Because if I don't push the burden of this 10,000, I will be in a loss. Who is going to pay me that 10,000? Nobody. So what we need to do is, we need to shift the cost of this service department because they are not generating any revenue. P1, P2, P3 are making the products. These products will be sold and revenue will be generated. So these are the revenue generating departments. These departments are not generating any revenue. They are just providing the services to the production department. So do you agree this cost of 2,500 and 1,000 has to be shifted to P1, P2 and P3. Correct? This has to nullify, they have to become zero and the total cost has to come to P1, P2, P3 because these are revenue generating departments. These service departments cannot bear their own cost. They are not generating any revenue and they will shift their cost to P1, P2 and P3. That is known as redistribution of the service department cost on the production department. So let us say these three departments, a total cost of 2,000 plus 500 plus 1,000, that is 3,500, they shift it to P1, P2, P3. Shifting these costs to these three departments can be done through 5 methods, which will be explained in video number 3. Let us say for the time being, I am taking that these 3,500 is distributed between these departments as, let us say 1,000, 1,500 and 1,000. So these becomes negative 2,000, negative 500 and negative 1,000, and cost after redistribution of service department cost after redistribution of service department cost becomes rupees 5,500, rupees 2,500, oh here one more, that is rupees 3,200, and this becomes 0, 0, 0. Now these service departments do not have any cost with them. This distribution, again I am telling, this can be done through 5 methods, will be explained in the next video. So the cost after redistribution is this. So with this we are done with step number 4 also. Coming to step number 5, that is calculation of absorption rate. Now let us, this is anyway 0, let us forget about this. Let us forget about P1 and P2 also for the time being. Let us just concentrate on P3. Let us say P3, we can see that P3 has a total cost of 2,500. This is again an estimated figure. Why estimated? Because from here only we are talking about estimations. So obviously this is also an estimated overhead, or I can say budgeted overhead. Correct? Again, where are we standing? We are standing on day 1 of the year. Correct? I need to put this burden of 2,500 on the products which P3 is going to make. Am I sure of how many units P3 is going to make? No, I don't know. Again, I need to estimate, or I need to budget my output. Let us say my budgeted output is 500 units. What is this? This is budgeted output. Budgeted. Again budgeted figure, estimated figure. Now 2,500 worth budgeted overheads to be put on 500 units. What would be my rate per unit, or I will say absorption rate per unit? That would be 2,500 divided by 500, that is equal to rupees 5 per unit. That means what am I going to do? I am going to put the burden of rupees 5 per unit on each product towards my overheads. That is my absorption rate. How much am I absorbing from each unit towards my overheads? That is known as absorption rate. Again, I have taken budgeted output here. I can take hours also. I can take cost also. These are again various methods of absorption which we'll learn in video number 4. For simplicity purpose, here I have distributed I have redistributed the cost simply, and here for simplicity purpose I have taken budgeted output. So this is how my overhead absorption takes place.